What is masturbation? What is self-loathing? This is a video I have to state because so many people have this problem today. So many people have this problem with literally what the fuck is self-loathing? How the fuck do you cope with literally thinking that you're the shit yet reality corrects you every single fucking time, and self-loathing is the equivalent to masturbation. So if you know where a metaphoric jerk yourself off means, these people who self-loathe don't know that you can be doing activities that are equivalent to masturbation, and that's what self-loathing is. And masturbation is the ultimate form of selflessness and the ultimate form of being a pig, being an animal. Like, say if you beat somebody in a fight that was very easy to beat and you brag about it and you get social appraisal about it. Oh, you just beat up a fucking fourth grader. Oh, you're the coolest guy in the fucking world. That's beating yourself up. Oh, you harassed this girl. You followed her home. You wouldn't stop, but you got tons of appraisal and literally social dynamics from it. That is self-loathing. You didn't get in trouble from it, but literally she couldn't say anything because you're at a higher status, and literally if she disagrees with you, she puts herself in a bad position and you think you're shit for that. That's self-loathing. Doing something that you know is wrong but you're getting an end result out of it is self-loathing. You doing something like, say if I roast the fuck out of Livingstone and he goes in the ARL chat and pretends that it never happens and literally does nothing in real fucking life. When I ask him to back him up with his actions on a computer screen to turn his webcam on, he doesn't do it. That's self-loathing. That is what the fuck self-loathing is. Self-loathing is literally you knowing you're fucking wrong, but you relying on what you have to fall back on that's superficial is self-loathing. Literally, a snobbish white person that's flexing a black kid who's poor, who literally doesn't have the tools to have what the right person has, and him thinking it's the fucking shit, and him crying on him saying that I have better music, I have this and that, I have a better wardrobe, I have better clothes on my feet, you're black and I still have a better wardrobe than you, is self-loathing because he knows the black person doesn't have the opportunity to have the same tools. If you know you're wrong and you still get a reward, it's self-loathing. Just like you know you're wrong for masturbation, but you still do it anyway, it's self-loathing. You have to understand, you laughing at something after you know you just got out of a serious situation and you covering up for a joke is self-loathing. Self-loathing is literally the equivalent to jerking yourself off because you are doing something that's practically easy, and if anybody else is in that position, they can do the exact same thing, but you're still bragging about it. You thinking you're the shit, you finding out how many women you have without literally considering how hard it was. Like when I was back in the day, when I started getting women, I never literally put myself in that position to a point where I'm all like, oh, I'm gonna segregate all the bitches for myself. I'm gonna make sure like you don't get any fucking bitches. No, that never happened when I started pulling. What started happening is I started realizing the other shit that I didn't have other than women once I started getting them, and that is not self-loathing. You owning up to your mistakes and you doing something about it is literally the way you cope with self-loathing. But if you're fucking bitches after bitches after bitches, where everybody else is reaching greatness, where everybody else has their college degrees, where everybody else is literally getting farther in their career, and you're literally just fucking bitches all 24/7, one, it's easily obtainable. Two, you're not surpassing any limits, you're not challenging yourself. So that is the equivalent of self-loathing. If you're fucking a girl with no difficulty, or you're not sharing the intellectual love, is self-loathing. So let me put another form of self-loathing to you. You think that if you cop a feel on a girl a lot, that is not self-loathing? No, that's the definition of self-loathing. If she doesn't reciprocate the energy. So there was this one time when literally I was feeling on this girl like for like an hour. I was literally, my hands were all over her butt cheeks for an hour. Literally, I was kissing on her all over the place. I was sucking on her cheek, doing all this disgusting shit that you see in porn, and I wasn't getting hard. I'm wondering, dude, I waited all this time to get with a girl, and I'm not getting hard. Why am I not getting hard? So all of a sudden, like at the end, I asked her to kiss me, and when she finally kissed me, that's when I got hard. See, that is not self-loathing me, because I got their approval from somebody else. Therefore, it is not myself. Therefore, it is not one singular. It is not self-loathing. That is why a relationship is so much better than treating a girl like a piece of meat. That's why making out will always be better than you copying your feeling and you taking advantage of a situation where you know that you have a significant advantage in. That is self-loathing. You literally having advanced techniques and using it on people who haven't even played the game before is self-loathing. That is the ultimate form of self-loathing. When you know that you're wrong and you do it anyway and you get away with doing it and you get appraisal from doing it, that is the ultimate form of self-loathing. If a girl doesn't like you back, then it's not actual sex, it's self-loathing. It's the equivalent to masturbation. If you want to be in control of a situation all the fuck you want, if you want to use her this way and that way, that's what you have a dick for, buddy. This is literally why you have to understand why what you are fantasizing about is literally just you playing with your dick. When you know that you're not affecting people in real life, that is why when she kissed me back, it was the ultimate form of validation. You see, doing something with no validation is the form of self-loathing. You cheating at a specific thing and not literally getting appraisal from professional people who actually know how to do that thing professionally is a form of self-loathing. And you doing something professionally, but knowing that you're advanced, knowing that you have the advantage of other people, and you thinking that you're a shit is self-loathing. Like, let me put it this way. Schizo was the best in the era, but Schizo comes from the hood. And we're all right, we're us black people online pretending to be gangster anime nerds. So basically, Schizo had the advantage, and you know, the worst part about that is when he beat people like Troy, when he beat people like Sabo, that is all self-loathing. And he thought he was the shit for that. And Lily, you have to understand, that is self-loathing. I used to self-loathe. I used to self-loathe a lot. Like freshman year was the definition of when I self-loathed the most. Literally, when I took advantage of Michael Pip, when I literally pretended to be somebody I fucking wasn't. Literally, when you praise the outer image that you have, when you praise the fake persona that you have, that is self-loathing. Like, I used to steal iHomes and I used to sell them. I used to think I was the shit when really I was punking myself. That is self-loathing. And that's why I don't enjoy masturbation like how I used to. You know, I cannot masturbate the same anymore. The reason why is because I'm not a selfish person. When you lose your virginity and you recognize that there are more things in life, you recognize the true things when people tell you, oh, there's more to life than sex. Yes, that's true. But in reality, it's not the fact that sex isn't always cracked up to be. It's the fact that you go to back-breaking work and sometimes you just want to chill. And sometimes you don't want to put all that physical thing. Because you have to understand, sex is a physical activity. You don't want a girl to fuck up a shoe that you just bought. Those shoes cost $100 and you literally just spilled nut on them? Come on, man. Like, it took a lot of energy. It took a whole lot of time. Way more time than me fucking you to... You fuck up those shoes that I worked hard for months to get. That's not self-loathing. A form of not self-loathing is when you buy a pair of shoes and you see that they got dirty because you wore them one time outside and you automatically wash them and you automatically wipe them off. That is not self-loathing. That's the exact opposite of self-loathing. Self-loathing is a shit at the Yu-Gi-Oh Club when literally when you have a control deck and everybody else has a deck with twists and turns and you literally control the entire fucking game. That's a form of self-loathing. You have to understand that. That is the equivalent to jerking yourself off. Me making AMVs, knowing that there are people like Samurai, knowing that there are people like Shiny Boy Studios who were way better than me, that literally got to a point and I only had all these flashy colors and shit. This is back when I was in high school and I used to always make AMV after AMV. All I used to do, you know that one AMV I just uploaded with the champagne and lingerie? I used to make AMV like that every single time. My brother used to always tell me that this is repetitive. You're not listening. You need to stop with the colors. You need to actually get to the point of the video. So that's when I started making AMVs like that one with Snoop Dogg, Can't Say Goodbye. You need to stop self-loathing in order to get results. You need to stop treating yourself like a fucking rag doll. You need to stop treating yourself like Lily. Like you're your own fucking bitch. Like you're impressing somebody. Like me, I used to have this dumbass shit. Like, when I used to try hitting this girl, and I literally said, like, when I was going through autistic awareness programs, I heard this thing called independent living. So this is a form of self-fucking-loathing. I was venting to people online on Skype, thinking that I was going to get my own actual house, and it was really just a fucking group home. Oh, so what am I going to do? Am I going to take her to independent living? And this and that, thinking that I was the fucking shit and shit. I'm like, no. That's talking out of your ass. Talking out of your ass from no experience, knowing that you're getting pampered is a form of self-loathing. And you literally enjoying everything to yourself and you hiding shit from other people, like you literally eating all the fucking food to yourself and not getting everything to everybody else is a form of self-loathing. You literally absorbing what you know and leaving the tools from other people is a form of self-loathing. You have to understand, How to not self-loathe is to make sure the other person is having fun and making sure you're not the only person having fun. That way you're not being selfish. Being selfish and self-loathing are literally the exact same thing, but being a self-loathing person is somebody who dwells in his own ego. Your ego is literally you jerking yourself off. You laughing about the fact that you have a problem, you not doing anything about it, is self-loathing. You hiding from the reality of the situation and covering it up with dopamine is self-loathing. You smoking weed after you literally just got out of a serious situation expecting life to change is a form of self-loathing. Like if somebody with a squeaky voice that you used to know literally became a good person, literally got a good paying job, this and that, and you were stuck a hoodlum on the street and you didn't improve at all. You stayed the fucking same and you literally tried to pull the same games that you played on him when you were in high school and it didn't work, but you still pretend that he's the same because he still stays in the same fucking neighborhood, then that is a form of self-loathing. You not accepting reality is self-loathing. You taking advantage of the fact that you have it easy and not putting yourself out there is a form of self-loathing. Like literally, there's this thing where I can tell people this and this and that, and literally, I can be like this. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just say, hey, how you doing? You know, stuff like that. Like I was telling these people like how to really get girls. I'm like, you know what's really good? I sound gay when I say this shit, but it actually work because girls don't really care about this and that. They just care about shit that actually like works. You know, they just care about being treated nice. All you have to do is be nice and have fun. You don't really have to shove shit down their throat like you think you do. I'm all like, if you don't have time to make it, don't force yourself to make that date. Just plan for another time. There's nothing that turns a woman on more than a guy that knows his place in the world. And literally, these guys laugh at me. Ah ha ha, you little fruit, you're so fucking square. Ah ha 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 ha. I'm like, but dude, it works. Try it. It actually works. I'm like, I'm not trying that square ass shit. That is a form of self-loathing. Now, the difference now is like literally, when you share an experience with a girl, that's the difference between love and sex. If you fuck a girl that literally doesn't like you for who you are and sees fine as fuck, it's gonna feel good and it's gonna feel alright, but you know, what's gonna happen is you're gonna feel more dopamine, but you gotta know the difference between a drug and reality. Once you fuck a girl that has no personality but has all fucking body, you're gonna realize that literally the only thing that separates this from jacking off is the fact that I'm doing it with another person. But if you are with a girl that's literally reciprocating the energy, that's kissing you back, that's literally doing this and that, this not self-loathing because you are sharing the dopamine, you're sharing the energy. Like say if you are in a room and you make a joke and you're the only one that's fucking laughing, that is self-loathing. It's not funny when you're the only one that's laughing. That is self-loathing. If you know the full story and you ignore it, that is self-loathing. Like, no matter how knowledgeable you are of the situation, you have to sacrifice sometimes. Sacrificing in order for everybody to have a good time, just like you, is a form of non-self-loathing. But self-loathing is literally when you literally be a buzzkill and everybody's trying to have fun and you literally state a situation at hand that they know they can't do shit about, but they're still having fun anyway. That is a form of self-loathing. Like, you have to pay attention to the situation. Like, being a buzzkill is a form of self-loathing because you're not considered the other person. Self-loathing is only being considerate of how you feel 24/7. That is the definition of self-loathing. If you know you're right, but you have no validation and you still do something anyway, it's called self-loathing. Like me, when I was in the era, when I knew I had good bars, but when people didn't validate me and I still did it anyway, like, ha ha ha, I knew you whooped your ass. Like, dude, you're wasting your time because even though you know you whooped his ass, even though they blamed your list, even though yay repeated bars that you said and said that they didn't understand what you said, it's still self-loathing because you are abusing the fact that you have perspective, but your perspective isn't getting your results on paper. So you have to understand that even if you have perspective, if it's not getting you what you want, if it's not getting you an actual fucking result, it's self-loathing. Like, I know I beat that nigga. It doesn't matter. You're wasting your time because you are hanging around in an area where you already established to them that they don't like you. You already got marked out and you're acting like you're a shit. Yeah, you may be right, but are you right on paper? Like, literally. That's like talking shit to your fucking boss, basically. But it's not because they know they're full of shit. But at the end of the day, that example is still self-loathing. No matter how smart you are, you have to be considerate about other people. That's another form of self-loathing. That's why nerds self-loathe too. When they think that they know everything about fucking life, when they haven't took one day outside, they wonder why the hoodlum got the girl when they were in high school. Just high school, by the way. They don't get women, they only get little girls. So basically, that is the truth. Like, I was doing a whole bunch of intellectual shit in high school, but I had no fucking validation, and I was doing it at a place where it didn't fucking matter. So literally, like, no matter how good I knew I was. So I created this thing when I was a junior year in high school. So this is a form of self-loathing, but it's not the ultimate form because I was ahead of my time. And even if you're ahead of your time, what you have to do is you have to slow down in order to connect with other people. One of my biggest problems when I started battle rapping is making sure that my lyrics connect to the audience. I had to slow down and literally make sure that I was hitting my audience correctly. You have to understand, self-loathing is a very bad thing to do in life because you need validation. It doesn't matter if you're fucking right. If you say the wrong thing to a girl, if you correct her on one thing and she literally flips it the wrong way, you could be doing what she says. Like, there was this one time where I was acting perverted towards this girl, and then all of a sudden I stopped, but then I called her out because she teased me. I'm like, hold up, last time you're the one who teased me. She's like, it doesn't matter, I said stop. I'm like, hold up, I stopped for all this time. It didn't matter. That's why I learned you gotta keep things positive 24/7 when you deal with women. Do not make things negative on all women. It's a form of self-loathing because you need validation from the other person. With no validation, that equals jacking off. You have to understand that. So what I did when I was in high school is there was this thing called RewardTV.com where you can post YouTube links and you can literally have your own logo, and I called it Mood Tunes. So basically what I'll do is I'll put a bridge series, I'll put AMVs, I'll put, anime movie trailers like the Naruto tricks and shit. I put them in a playlist, and I would have my own custom logo, so it looked like I was watching fucking TV, that I made my own TV channel. Really, I'm just watching a YouTube playlist of my favorite videos, but they all connect and they all like flow differently, and that's what made it actually look like a TV show. And so I was showing my brother it, and he thought that shit was hilarious, and he thought it was great. But the problem is, it's all a bridge series. It was one-dimensional. It had something to do with anime. It had nothing to do with sports. It had nothing to do with that. It didn't get me results on paper because it was super one-dimensional. I'm going to make a video later on what Mood Tunes was. It was the ultimate form of self-loathing because it's the ultimate thing in the universe that's in my head, but there's nothing that's being gained on the outside. Is it gaining publicity? No, it's just me stuck to my eyes all day on the computer. That is a form of self-loathing. You need results. Doing shit that even if you know you're right and you don't get results is self-loathing. Like, yeah, I'm the shit. I'm like, dude, you have to literally get other people's approval or else you'll forever be fucking alone. You must be doing something wrong if you're not getting approval on the outside. So that's why you always have to make sure that you're getting validation from somebody, from a sensei, from a peer, from your girl, for something. You need validation somewhere, because if you only validate yourself and you get no fucking results, it doesn't matter. Even if you're right, it's a form of self-loathing. I am Albert Einstein. I am the fucking shit that I'm still a virgin. That is a form of self-loathing. No matter how smart you are, even if you have fucking perspective, you have to understand you need fucking results. That's why when I learned that you need to work out, when you need to learn how to be better, when you have to practice being funny, when you have to learn this and that. 8th grade to me was a big form of self-loathing because even though I beat Geo, even though I surpassed my limits, I had no validation on paper. So that's why I literally had the ultimate self-loathing. Even though I proved to myself that I was better, I had no results on paper. You need to get results in order to stop self-loathing. Therefore, you know you're not jerking yourself off. You met somebody halfway to a certain extent, to a point where you negotiated, to a point where you did see them in their point of view, because if you start one-sided, it's a form of self-loathing. Like, what? I did this and that. I'm like, okay, I may understand that, but you didn't do it enough to a point where you got my interest enough. Like, sometimes you have to be biased in order to get that A on a piece of paper. Sometimes you have to be this and that, but it's in the form of complexity. It's not in the form of literally, oh, they have to be a dick, so I have to suck their dick in order to get approval. No. Sometimes you literally have to do it and survive, but it's only going to be temporary. You have to literally suck up to somebody metaphorically temporarily to get an A on a test. Literally be a nicer person and like literally don't make jokes at other people's expense even though you know they're fucking funny. Okay, that's okay. That is why I can't masturbate the same. Like, every time I fucking masturbate now, I'm too aware of the situation. Like, literally, I think of dumb shit like, what if the fucking ceiling fell on me? Like, literally, while I fucking masturbate, like, I don't really think about that. But shit on that fucking level is what I think about, because I've been with some woman and I too consider the other person. Plus, I got obsessed with fashion, so, like, I have this, like really bad habit. Like, I don't want to go outside if there's none on my shirt. Like, I really have a really bad habit of, taking showers after masturbating because I really just don't like it. I don't masturbate for hours on end like I used to anymore because I'm too considerate about the world outside, because I stopped self-loathing for so long, and because I got so much validation on the outside because I actually worked hard to get somebody else's validation is the reason why I stopped self-loathing. But yeah, when you're stuck in your own little world, or you're a virgin, when you literally just think you're fucking shit, when you have your intellect and your intellect is getting in the way of the reality of the situation, yeah, you view it one way, but the results are saying otherwise. Even though you know you're right, you have to sacrifice, because nothing in life comes without a little bit of sacrifice. And that's one thing that self-loathing, like, teaches you. Self-loathing thinks that, oh, I don't have to sacrifice shit. I'm the shit. I don't need to do shit in order to get this go. No, that is why you need to stop self-loathing. So, in conclusion, self-loathing is when you do something and you literally get either the wrong result, you earn the result the wrong way, or you get no result at all, and they all revolve around doing the wrong thing or doing the right thing at the wrong time. And it comes around with constructive criticism. Self-loathing and constructive criticism go hand in hand. If you're in a position where you used to handle constructive criticism, but it doesn't matter now because you're a boss and now you don't take constructive criticism anymore, when you're a former shell, that is the ultimate form of self-loathing, because keeping it consistent and knowing that you have limits, and knowing that we are limitless, but knowing that you have to surpass those limits is literally the complex things about life. And literally thinking that you never have to improve, and that even though we're still evolving as creatures, that is why you should never self-loathe, because we can always do better, but you can't always hold yourself accountable for that. But you can always do the best you can be. I'll give you one example. When I started making AMVs as a group home, when I stopped making AMVs with all those fucking wild colors, sometimes I wouldn't match the clip every single fucking time, but I'll become pretty fucking close to matching. Sometimes I'll have to use the same clip price, but that was very a rarity. But those times when I did use the same clip prices, when I had the other clips that are really more impactful to the audience. And so you understand what you literally start watching AMVs on my channel. You understand like the evolution, like how they were on point, but sometimes they are a little bit repetitive, but it doesn't get in the way that they kept on evolving. And that's because I stopped self-loathing. They got way better, they got way on beat, but sometimes they were never perfect, and that's okay. So that's just a tiny example, and that's what it is. You make small mistakes here and there, but you're slowly progressing forward, and that is a form of non-self-loathing. I'm at the group home. I didn't have a job, but I had tons of respect for women, and I had tons of respect for my peers. And whenever I go outside, I had the perfect interaction. I had to learn slow by steps. I had to take baby steps, and recognizing that sometimes you have to take baby steps is a form of not self-loathing. So in conclusion, self-loathing is literally the ultimate ego to effect, where you think that you don't have to improve, where you feel like you have no flaws, and when you ignore your flaws, and when you let life pile up to a point where you are allowed to stay in denial, that is the ultimate form of self-loathing. And a lot of people reach that level. A lot of people stay at that level when they're comfortable, when they're allowed, when they're staying in the same fucking position, when nobody criticizes them, because every time they criticize them, they throw a fucking temper tantrum. You know what? Since I have no one else to hang out with, I'm not going to deal with your fucking temper tantrum. I'm going to ignore the fact that you're wrong. I'm going to pretend you're right, because I'm just going to, waste time with you, because we're fucking losers and I'm stuck with you anyway. Do not be in that position, because that is the ultimate form of self-loathing on both sides.